Alright, it's going. Hey, what's up, everybody? Back again for a Dread update. Doing my 2-week update right now. Um, just kind of showing off the progress, kind of give you a quick round view here of what they're all looking like. So, as far as for progress, they are locking up pretty well, at least some of them are. I did have some issues with a few of them as far as for just because I've been getting them wet so much. Um, let's see if I can find you a good example. Maybe over on this side, further back. This one's not bad. I've got one over here somewhere, and it's reversed, so I'm trying to find it. Okay, this is a pretty good example. Okay, before I decided I wasn't gonna blunt the tips on them, because I kind of like the loose hair look. I since changed my mind because my hair gets really curly down at the bottom. If you can kind of see that around on the ones that I haven't blunted tips on already, it likes to curl. That I'm not such a huge fan of. When it was falling straight, it looked fine. Not a very big fan of when when it's all curly. But this one here, kind of up here, it's really loosened up from just getting it wet a few times, and I don't think it's gonna come apart, but it's not too solid, especially kind of up in here. It's kind of loose, and then again down on the bottom. So like right here, it's actually pretty solid, but up here it's loosened up a bit, and that's probably either A from A, getting it wet, B, probably sleeping on it, just cause some issues. I'll probably go through and do some maintenance on this particular dread with a crochet hook, pulling the hairs kind of up towards the base, which is obviously going to shrink the dread a bit, but that's going to happen anyway as they mature. But I have started blunting the tips on them. I do have a few over on this side done, and then I have more on this side done, actually. But I decided to do that. I think they just end up looking a little cleaner. Not that that's really a huge concern of mine. If you can see all this loose hair on the top, I know some people that just pick at their dreads all day long, and that's not my big concern. My big concern is just making sure that they're going to stay in. I don't think any of them would wash out at this point in time now, at least not very easily. But obviously, and you don't want to crochet too much. I want to let them naturally lock up as much as I can, but I want to make sure to get them at least tight enough where they're going to be, where they're obviously going to stay in pretty well. Over crocheting can cause some damaging, and that's something you want to avoid. So, for anyone that sits there and says, I crochet hook all the time, it's fine. Well, it might be. It really just depends on your type of hair and how careful you are when you do it. Obviously, the biggest concern is you're pulling hairs through really small knots, and it can cause breakage, which definitely can happen. So you do want to be careful when doing it, and don't overdo it. Otherwise, you'll be very unpleased with the later outcome. I found that with even some of the extensions I had in my hair previously, that I had way over crocheted. Even with that extension hair, I had issues with it later on. But that was a lesson to learn from. But yeah, I think they're looking good for where they're at right now. They even honestly feel better than they did the last time I did my dreads. I'm really happy with the way they're looking, the way they feel, the way they sit. I think everything looks great. But if you guys have any questions on what I did, or if you have any questions on what I'm continuing to do for any maintenance, which is pretty much none at this point in time, other than using a crochet hook to blunt the tips, feel free to send me a message, or if you guys have any tips or pointers on anything you guys see that that I should maybe give a try. feel free to comment below or send me a message. But I'll try and do another update here. This is my 2 week. I'll try and do another one at 3, and then a month, and then I'll probably just go to months from there. So we'll see you again in another week.